What's up, everybody? Today we have Season 4 of Vanguard and Warzone dropping, and as usual, we have gun balance changes, bug fixes, attachment changes, new modes, new quality of life changes, and of course, the biggest news of all is Fortune's Keep comes today. So obviously on your screen are the patch notes, as it says, Season 4 patch notes. I'm going to go ahead and run through these. There will be a few things I skip, like when it goes over the new special plunder mode, but other than that, I'm going to go through most of it, and I'll have it linked down below if you want to check all of that out for yourself. So let's go ahead and get right into it. They have their playlists for the first half of the season. Usually we have Fortune's Keep only for this week, and then next week we get Rebirth back as just quads. So we have Fortune's Keep for solos, duos, trios, quads, and Rebirth quads. Same thing the following week, and once again the week of July 14th, but then the week of July 21st, it lists both Fortune's Keep and Rebirth Island with an asterisk saying Fortune's Keep and Rebirth Island will rotate at 10 a.m. Pacific each day. So after July 21st, every day, we will have either Fortune's Keep or Rebirth, and it'll change every day at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, every day. So during the week of July 1st, there will be a trial of map rotation. So it's during July. It's just during that week, but I'm sure they're going to keep it permanently. A map rotation between Fortune's Keep and Rebirth Island for the Resurgence game mode. This means that if Fortune's Keep Resurgence supports all squad sizes for the day, then Rebirth Island Resurgence will support quads on that day and vice versa on corresponding days. Okay, so they're kind of testing that out. And then on top of that, they'll also have payload for Rebirth that week. And you can see we'll have Gold and Plunder the first 2 weeks, Storage Town Clash, and then no special mode. I guess payload on Rebirth Island. Battle Pass stuff, I'm going to go ahead and skip over that. The Mercenary Fortune event, which begins today through July 7th, they have all these different challenges, which you can check out for yourself, as also with the rewards. Modes, Gold and Plunder, once again, you can check that out for yourself if you'd like. And then Fortune's Keep Resurgence. At launch, Fortune's Keep will have the same player count as Rebirth Resurgence to allow players to familiarize themselves with the new map, and for us to acquire data on the similarities between time to action on both maps. We will then be looking to increase player count should the experience need an adjustment to match Rebirth's pacing. Player count solos, duos 46, trios 45, quads 40. I don't know why quads isn't 44 or 48, but whatever. I think it should be 44 or 48 at least if all those ones are going to be 46 and 45. Plunder adjustments, most wanted contracts have been removed from the Plunder loot pool. Once again, here's a look at the map. I did go in detail over their blog post on the map. I'll link that down below. So I'm going to go ahead and skip all that because I did have a video on it. Like I said, will be linked in the description below. And then we also covered the Mercenary Cask Extraction, Black Market Drop, and the Sequencer Grenade in that video as well. But just to touch on the Sequencer Grenade enough because this will matter the most. Tactical Grenade applies visual distortion with floating red numbers on the victim screen as well as an auditory debuff. Players can counter this with Battle Harden or using a stim. And it can only be acquired through the Black Market Station. I didn't pick that up on my last video. Caldera updates, went over that in that video as well. That I'll have linked down below. Gameplay went over the Armored SUV. The EMP Grenade, a non-lethal tactical grenade designed primarily around counter vehicle play that also disrupts enemy electronics, and removes the HUD for 6 seconds. These effects can be reduced via the Battle Harden perk. Deactivates vehicle engines for 10 seconds. Broken ATMs. Players can choose to visit broken ATMs around the map for a guaranteed source of cash. Funds periodically spawn near broken ATMs up to a maximum cap if unlooted. Portable redeploy balloon. It's in the name. A portable version of the popular redeploy balloons can be placed on the ground and used until it expires or destroyed. I like that a lot. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. Quality of life. Give me 1 second. Quality of life. Loadout crate UI selection. The in-game loadout crate UI selection will always start at the top of the list. Just leave the buy station order alone. It's going to screw people up. We saw frequent instances of players selecting undesired loadouts due to the cursor remembering previous selections. In order to prevent this, the cursor will always start at the top of the list. Okay, yeah, I guess that makes sense. This will better respect player muscle memory in the heat of the moment, especially during engagements. So they're not actually moving the loadout crate. Oh, no, never mind. Wait, yeah, I don't like that. I liked when it started. I get that now. I liked when the loadout crate selection was on the one that you chose in the pregame. But, okay. Gas mask animation. The break animation will no longer interrupt parachute while falling. This has been updated to align with previous update removal animation. Buy station menu. That's what I was thinking. That's why I was so confused. But yeah, I liked it when it left it on the loadout you selected, so you could select what loadout you wanted in pregame and then just quickly grab it. Buy station menu. Option added to, well, maybe they'll still do it in the menu, and it'll just change, like if you pick up Ghost loadout, it won't stay on Ghost if you hit loadout again. Buy station menu. Option added to setting menu, allowing players to enable the ability to remain in the buy station menu. I'm definitely turning that on. Maybe, I don't know. Player-owned inventory will be indicated next to items in brackets, i.e. gas mask 1. That, I like that they were going to put the inventory next to it. We want to enable more advanced players' opportunity to remain in the buy station when making purchases, therefore knowing the inventory count of each item became an important addition. Deployable buy station will now live longer for gas to keep it consistent with the behavior of in-world buy station emplacements. For our sub-public event, self-revive will now have a small associated cost similar to that of other items. I'm glad. I don't think we should have ever gotten free selfs in the fire sale. Loadout drop markers will now receive a discount. Also a change that I thought they should have made a long time ago. I hope, though, instead of like on Rebirth when it's 75, that it becomes like 7,000, 6,500. I don't want like $3,000 loadouts. Infill POI text. We've updated both the font and color of the default infill POI text to improve visibility of high-value loot zones. Out of bounds timer increased 10 seconds off from 5. I hope I get to see some clips and some streamers making some outplays with that. But the previous map boundary timer wasn't long enough for players to recognize their error and course correct in a reasonable time frame. We have bumped this up slightly to be more sympathetic to mistakes while making sure it cannot be exploited. It'll get exploited. Gulag audio spectators now have muted footstep audios for players who are fighting in the new Hold Gulag. Thank God. On-screen hit markers. Reduce the duration of on-screen hit markers when players are being hit to better show the most recent hit direction. Redeploy positioning. Players who redeploy via Gulag Victory are brought back will now spawn in close proximity to their squad or loadout. This was previously implemented in Season 3, but had to be reverted due to an issue that's subsequently been resolved. Loot perks now to the rarest drop rate. We have added Ghost, Combat Scout, Double Time, Cold-Blooded, and Amped, so a lot of your meta perks. Perk adjustments. Battle Hardened. Stun and Flash resistance increased to 40% up from... increased to 70% up from 40%. With our push for stronger counterplay opportunities, there were clear gains to be had with this buff here. I like the Battle Hardened buff. Battle Hardened was almost useless. It got a little more use because Snapshot Grenades got more popular, but I like the Stun and Flash resistance. Now it just... now it might actually be a little more meta, especially if they nerf Snapshots ever and people go back to Stuns and Flashes. Scavenger awards an additional $500 in Scavenger pouch with each kill. Makes it a little more useful. People still aren't going to touch it. Hardline provides a 25% discount on all buy station items, including loadout drop markers. That's going to make Hardline more tempting, but people would rather just loot for cash and use something like Ghost, High Alert, I can't think of it, Tempered, those kind of perks. We felt that given the inherent nature of the perk requiring a player to have either found hardline and ground loot or to have already collected their loadout, the value and consistency of the perk needed to be improved. So yeah, it's more interesting now to pick up off the ground, but it's not going to make its way into loadouts. And no one was not picking up whatever perks they found, because there's no point. This work was completed during previous adjustments. This work was completed during Season 3 Reloaded, but is listed here for comprehensiveness. Recharge time on restock up to 30 from 25, and radar jammer reduced drop rates in Rebirth, Resurgence, and Fortune's Keep. I still found it all the time. Snapshot Grenade radius decreased to 22 meters, down from 27.4 meters. That's a good change. I don't know if there's any other changes I would really make, and I don't know if that's enough to get people to drop it. I'd probably still use it. I will still use it. UGM is coming today. High fire rate mobile LMG. Marco 5 submachine gun. High mobility submachine gun. Accurate from the hip with excellent close range stopping power. M1916 and Nikita now have unlocked challenges. And then weapon adjustments. Cold War AK-47. Sustained recoil slightly increased. I don't think that people were really using that much. I haven't come across it. AS-44 increased standing hip fire accuracy. Empress barrel horizontal recoil control increased. 615 barrel vertical recoil control now increased. 40 round mags recoil control increased. Damage bonus removed. Damage range increased. Muzzle velocity increased. 7.62 50 round mags. Muzzle velocity increased. Damage penalty removed. Damage range decreased. Assault Rifle Charlie, which is the BAR, muzzle velocity now increased, neck damage multiplier increased. Oh my god, BAR is the best AR in the game now by far. 30-inch barrel, which is the usual barrel. Visual recoil control decreased to 28, down from 35. It still has like no recoil anyways. Visual recoil increased. Didn't really have that bad of visual recoil. Rapid barrel recoil decreased. Recentering speed increased. Visual recoil decreased. Nobody used the 50 BMG mags, but both of them had muzzle velocity decreased. The 60 round mag had a movement speed decrease, and the damage range was increased. The 8mm 40 round mags, the mags people used, the velocity was increased, the damage range increased, rate of fire multiplier bonus slightly down. Recoil control decreased, but still this gun's gonna have like no recoil. And remove stock vertical recoil control decreased. BAR is absolutely gonna be the AR meta. I don't know if this new LMG is gonna contend with it, but they're not adding a whole lot of recoil to the 30-inch barrel, and they're not really adding a whole lot more recoil to the 40 round mags, but they're increasing the neck damage multiplier significantly and the muzzle velocity. 100% gonna be meta, especially since on the 40 round 8mm mags they increased muzzle velocity and damage range. 100% meta. Cooper carbine recoil intensity adjusted to account for less reliance on tight grip. Max damage increased, min damage increased. Decent damage increase, but I still don't see it becoming a long range AR. Gracie rapid headshot damage multiplier increased, upper torso damage penalty removed, horizontal recoil penalty decreased, vertical recoil penalty decreased. Tight grip recoil control provided by tight grip has been decreased for the Cooper carbine. Compressed rounds vertical recoil now increased, horizontal recoil increased. I wish they would have just said control decreased, just to keep it consistent. Assault rifle Bravo, that's the ITRA burst, and its muzzle velocity was increased, upper torso damage multiplier increased. Still don't think you're going to see it really. Nikita AVT, maximum damage increased to 26, up from 23, fairly significant. Move speed scale increased to 0.86, up from 0.84. The 50 round mags movement speed modifier removed, reloaded quickness penalty added. On the 60 round drum, movement speed modifier removed, reload quickness penalty slightly increased. KGM 40, minimum damage increased to 26, up from 24. Recoil intensity adjusted to account for less reliance on tight grip. The 6.5 40 round mags, muzzle velocity increased, recoil recovery penalty removed, global damage increased, damage range increased. The 500mm barrel muzzle velocity increased, vertical recoil control increased. The 700mm barrel damage range increased to 25%. Burst barrel damage range now increased, muzzle velocity increased to 25 and 20%. It's fairly significant. Rate of fire increased to 20%. Burst fire cooldown decreased to 200 milliseconds down from 300 milliseconds. The big thing will be if you could toggle it like the NZ. Rapid barrel fire rate decreased. Global damage decreased. Reisdorf 36 SK. Hip fire increase. Tight grip recoil control provided by tight grip has been decreased for the KGM 40. This could move this more into the meta. We'll have to see what the numbers actually look like and how it feels. But increasing the minimum damage, and then giving it less recoil, even less recoil it seems like, and more muzzle velocity might help this thing move into the meta. We'll see. FFAR, max damage range increased. NZ41, the big Season 3 meta gun. Initial firing recoil on the burst increased. Sustained fire recoil control decreased. Burst fire cooldown decreased. Burst fire now supports auto burst mode. Hold to fire, continue firing burst. Everyone's still going to switch it to auto. They gave it some recoil, which is what we wanted, but they didn't nerf any of the damage, I don't think, on any of these. Orb Weaver 360 muzzle velocity now increased by 40%. This was a note that previously was mentioned in Season 3 Reloaded, but did not go live at this time. So now the Orb Weaver will probably become the main barrel over the burst, especially because you don't have to switch it. And now the burst got its recoil hurt a little bit. Actually, a lot. The sustained recoil control decreased to negative 12, up from 10%. That's huge. Orb Weaver Custom barrel visual recoil decreased, horizontal recoil control increased. People are going to use the Orb Weaver 360mm. Ravenwood 480mm barrel ADS initial recoil control increased. Hipfire initial recoil control increased. 6.5mm to curve 50 round mags, the mags everyone used. Vertical recoil control decreased to 40% down from 45. Visual recoil increased. And the LOR MK3 SC, I believe that was the stock. Sustained fire recoil control decreased to 14% down from 15%. Still meta. They didn't touch the time to kill. They only touched the recoil. Still meta. Now just use the 360mm barrel. Assault Rifle Alpha, which is the STG, minimum damage decreased, muzzle velocity decreased, head locational damage multiplier decreased pretty significantly, neck locational damage multiplier decreased just a little bit, 50 round mag, vertical recoil control decreased a decent amount, horizontal recoil control decreased another good amount, the 760mm barrel velocity decreased, damage range decreased, visual recoil control increased, the 60 round drums movement speed decreased. So I'm saying NZ, BAR, possibly the new LMG, depending on how it feels. Those are going to be your top 3 long-range options, especially because the NZ did not get a time to kill nerf at all, and the BAR didn't. They just got recoil nerfs, and in fact, the BAR's time to kill in the neck was increased. Definitely going to be the 2 meta ARs. STG will probably still be pretty good, but it's definitely getting hurt by that. Vargo, muzzle velocity increased, raise time decreased. VDV reinforced recoil control increased, and task force barrel recoil control increased. Vargo also going to be above the STG, definitely. So your 3 ARs are looking like NZ, BAR, Vargo. We're partially rolling back some of the recoil adjustments made to the Vargo earlier this year. This will result in the weapon being easier to control and filling its role as an easy-to-use, effective AR. It'll be interesting to see when the Vanguard Vargo drops, how those two compete. Launchers, if you want to check out launchers for yourself, go ahead, but it looks like I'm seeing damage increased everywhere, which I hate. That's awful. It's awful. Do not buff launchers. If you use a launcher, as the meme goes, your mom's a hoe. LMGs, Whitley, max damage range increased, max damage increased, min damage increased, muzzle velocity increased. Gracie MK9, damage range now increased. I said the Whitley was a good LMG option. It just got even better. Same thing with the DP, which is one of my top ones. Muzzle velocity increased. The Bren muzzle velocity increased. Type 11 muzzle velocity increased. But Whitley, DP, very good options. We'll see how they compete with the new LMG, or how the new LMG will compete with that. MG42, recoil intensity adjusted to account for less reliance on tight grip. Max damage increased. Min damage increased. Both decent amounts. ADS transition time increased. ADS transition out time increased, so it'll take longer to ADS, both in and out. Muzzle velocity increased. The 890 barrel damage range now increased. The 6.5 Sakura rounds, 125 round drums damage range increased. Muzzle velocity increased. ADS speed increased. And tight grip recoil control provided by tight grip has been decreased for the MG42. It's still going to be way too wild to use for long range if people aren't gonna. Marksman rifles. Flinch has been decreased on marksman rifles by 25%. M1 Garand upper torso multiplier increased to 1.3 up from 1.1. That's pretty significant. Neck damage multiplier increase from 1.3 up from 1.1. Visual recoil is still a huge problem for the M1 Garand. Still a huge problem. It's not going to make the M1 Garand usable still. They're going to have to fix that visual recoil, in my opinion. And then it's actually pretty decent. SVT 40 lowered, torso damage multiplier increased, upper extremity damage multiplier increased. And then on the SVT, the problem is the rate of fire. Rate of fire is just not it. Crossbow from Modern Warfare and had bullet velocity increased 27.2%. That's a lot. So if you like to run crossbow as a meme or for fun, crossbow just got a lot better. R1 Shadowhunter bolt velocity increased by 12.5%. Also a little better. Melee weapons. It looks like the melee weapons got a bit of a nerf. Once again, it's another thing you check out for yourself, because if you run a loadout with a melee weapon, your mom's a hoe. Handguns, AMP got a nerf, which was a lot of people's go-to for Ghost, especially after Psychov nerfs a while ago, Diamati nerfs over the last, 1.5 seasons. I know people were picking up the AMP like Breadman. Upper torso damage multiplier decreased, lower torso damage multiplier decreased, max damage increased, but mid and mid damage both decreased. Handgun Charlie for Cold War, which is the Diamati, max damage and mid damage decrease, so another Diamati nerf. And the Rat, the Empress barrel, max damage increased, mid damage increased, and rate of fire increased. The Rat damage potential was significantly higher when not using a barrel. We're addressing this by appropriately increasing the Empress barrel's damage profile and reducing the rate of fire penalty. Submachine guns, armor wear, max damage increased, max damage range decreased. Body 315, max damage increased to 28 up from 26. Max damage range decreased to 10.5 down from 11.5. And vertical recoil control decreased. The body was the main barrel I was using. I know a lot of people were using the 570 precision, so I'm probably going to make the switch to that. Perfetto custom damage range increased. Fire rate modifier decreased. Amaretto 550, horizontal recoil control decreased, vertical recoil control decreased. 30 Russian short 34 round mags, location damage penalties have been removed. Damage range increased to -18 up from -20. Fire rate modifier decreased to 8 down from 10. I know that was the solos meta, but it's definitely a little bit harder to control. Did give you a faster time to kill, but that mag's not going to make it past solos, and I still don't think many people use it in solos. 8mm Curse 72 round mags, damage range bonus decreased, fire rate modifier decreased, vertical recoil control decreased, and horizontal recoil control decreased. I tried using mags. It's not as good as was the 9mm 60. Well, time to kill wise, but it's easier to control, so it'll be interesting to see how that feels now that it got a pretty significant nerf, in my opinion. You might see people just going with the 960 because it wasn't a whole lot harder to control. Body DA, which is the stock, recoil decreased to 11, down from 14%. The armor wearer currently fills the jack of all trade roles, where it doesn't particularly excel at any one thing. While this is an identity we want to enforce, we're making some adjustments to ensure that's within its max damage range. It performs more consistently and less likely to lose a close range gunfight. I don't know what they're talking about. Everyone was running the armor wearer and the Blixen, and then just the Blixen, but armor wearer was still really good. Blixen, mid damage decreased, movement speed scalar decreased, ADS movement speed scalar decreased. Johnson 9-inch RMK barrel, muzzle velocity now increased. Carlson 17-inch custom, velocity decreased, recoil control decreased. People were using the Johnson and the Bergstrom 17-inch. Magnus 9-inch burst, velocity now increased by 30%. That's significant. Bergstorm 17-inch horizontal recoil control decreased, but I'm still gonna probably rock the Bergstrom. The Johnson is tempting because it gives you now that big muzzle velocity increase, but it's got more recoil than the Bergstrom, even though the Bergstrom just lost a little bit of horizontal recoil control, so it's another going to be feel it out thing. 7.62 Granko 54 round mags, headshot damage multiplier decreased. That's probably good. I know that's a lot of people's go-to. It probably still will be, though. The H4 Blixen made a pretty impressive statement when it first launched, and we've seen its adoption rate higher than any mid-season weapon in Warzone's history. This is largely due to the overall effectiveness of the weapon. This update attempts to slightly adjust its damage profile and overall mobility dominance to weaken its mid-range effectiveness, where the weapon has been performing most consistently above the competition. I think it's still going to be a fairly good beam for mid-range, so we'll have to see, but it's still probably going to be the meta SMG. It's not. It got its mid-damage TTK nerfed, but nothing else TTK-wise was nerfed. Right? Yeah. Oh, and then the 7.62 rounds, a little bit, but that's only if you're hitting headshots, which we know the majority of shots do not hit the head. Mac 10, minimum damage increased, headshot damage multiplier increased, max damage range increased, not significant, but a decent buff. Owen gun upper, torso multiplier damage decreased. Wow, the Owen can't get a break. Significant, decreased by 20%. Yeah, Owen's completely dead now. Gaiwin 188mm shrouded, max damage range increased, upper torso and lower torso damage multiplier decreased. Lower extremity damage multiplier decreased, vertical recoil control decreased. Yep, the Owen gun, just don't even touch it now. PPSH recoil intensity slightly decreased, 8mm 71 round mags, muzzle velocity increased, so not going to change. If you use the PPSH, you're still going to use it. If you don't, you won't. Sten, min, max, and mid damage all increased a decent amount. It's only 1 or 2, but that makes a big difference, especially the min damage increase. Mid damage range decreased to 24.8 meters, down from 27.9. Type 100, lower extremity damage multiplier decreased, but not a whole lot. The rapid barrel, vertical recoil control now decreased, and fire rate decreased. Time to kill wise, it's still going to be pretty much meta. If you're only hitting lower extremities, you shouldn't really be using a gun anyways. But it is going to have a slightly lower time to kill with this rapid barrel getting a fire rate nerf. Well gun, lower extremity damage multiplier decreased. It won't really change if you use the well gun or not. And then another welcome change, and we're almost done. Sniper rifles. The following aggressive snipers now adopt the lowest tier flinch. These utilize the flinch settings that previously only the marksman rifle, Charlie, aka the car, and Swiss had access to. In addition, we've made a slight reduction to flinch at this tier. So now the Modern Warfare car, the SPR, the Swiss, the Pellington, the Tundra, the Type 99, and the Vanguard car all now have almost no flinch at all, which is the only way that they're going to be usable after their nerfs, so you might start seeing these being more usable again. And flinches decreased by 12% on all heavy snipers, which is very important because I think part of the reason you didn't see people sniping was, yeah, the ZRG, the HGR, the AX50 can all one-shot, but the flinch is to the moon, and so people are like, well, if they're slow to ADS, they're slow to move around, they're slower to reload, than anything other than the Modern Warfare card, then there was just no point in using them when the flinch was all the way to the moon. The Gorenko rate of fire was increased. The base recoil decreased. Max damage, min damage both decreased. Headshot damage multiplier increased. Upper torso damage and lower torso damage multipliers increased. I don't think you're going to see people really running the Gorenko, though. It's just not very good. The 240mm Zach Rapid had a 10% increase in vertical recoil control. Fire rate was decreased. The ADS time was increased. Movement speed increased. The 13mm 3-round fast mag movement speed increased. Marksman stock movement speed increased. Reinforced stock movement speed, ADS speed increased. You're not going to see people using the Gorenko. 3-line rifle ADS transition time in and out were both decreased, so now it will ADS a little bit faster. The Empress 514 barrel ADS speed increased. The 820mm barrel ADS speed increased. The 700mm barrel ADS speed increased. 500mm custom barrel ADS speed increased. Empress 700mm TNO2 ADS speed increased, and the VOZ carbine barrel ADS speed increased. Be ready to see the 3-line. I know a lot of people are talking about running the 3-line already. It one-shot headshots. It's ADS all across the board with every barrel, and its base ADS just got a pretty significant increase, and you can run the 20-round mag on it. Prepare to see the 3-line rifle make its way more into the meta. I think Iron's been running it a lot, so people have been starting to run it a little bit, but I think sniping, you're going to see a lot of 3-line and ZRG, especially with the flinch decrease. Tactical rifle Charlie for Black Ops Cold War, which, is that the Carve? I don't remember which one that is, but its max damage and min damage is increased, but nobody's using it, so not really a big deal. Attachments, then I think this is it for the patch notes. MX Silencer, vertical recoil control decreased only by 1%. G28 flinch resistance increased. T1 flash hider, time to ADS decreased. Muzzle brake, horizontal recoil control increased. Flinch resistance increased. Only the MX Silencer really matters there, and I don't even know if that matters that much. Underbarrels, bayonet, hits to execute increased to 2, up from 1. Nobody's running that. SMLE pistol grip, ADS time now decreased, ADS move speed increased. That was an iffy attachment that not a lot of people were using. M1915 steady, which is what everyone, I believe that was what people were using for strafe speed. No, that was the, I don't remember exactly. Gov movement while firing now decreased. Yeah, that was the strafe speed one. Hip fire accuracy increased, horizontal recoil control now increased. Mark 6 skeletal movement speed now increased, hip fire accuracy now decreased. M3 ready grip, which I think was the other strafe speed under barrel for like SMGs, I think. Vertical recoil control decreased, and bipod movement speed while firing now decreased. Rear grip, polymer grip, flinch resistance decreased to 50%, down from 95%. That's kind of big, but that's not really why people were using it. But that is a significant, well, we'll see how significant that was, but that is a huge drop. Hatch grip, vertical recoil control now increased. Flinch resistance now increased. Horizontal recoil control now increased. Hatch grip could be an interesting option. Rubber grip, flinch resistance now increased. Leather grip, ADS move speed now increased. Hip fire now increased. Granular grip, recoil recovery now increased at 10%. Taped grip, movement speed now increased. Sprint to fire speed increased. Bug fixes, improve rendering performance on console. Fix an issue where Vanguard weapons would not receive any rotational flinch while using certain objects. All weapons now closer in parity to Modern Warfare and Cold War. Fix an issue preventing 2 successive claymores downing a player. That would have frustrated me if I ran claymores. Fix an issue with post-launch Vanguard weapons where unlocked camos couldn't be equipped in Warzone. Fix an issue where reticle challenges for Black Ops Cold War weapons were impossible to progress. Fix an issue where if player is downed in a vehicle, the vehicle is destroyed. Using a self-revival causes a player to lose their riot shield if they had one equipped. Fix an issue with the Astrakan Pavmati skin will obscure the player's vision. Fix an issue with where a redeployed balloon platform near runway was floating above the ground. Fix an issue where players could get stuck on cliffs near village. Fix an issue where an ascender near a radio station would cause players to ascend facing backwards. Fix an issue where the M3 ready grip was not available attachment for the Nikita. Fix an issue where the Type 99 10 times scope was not available attachment for the Nikita. Fix an issue where explosive flechettes for UGR displayed an incorrect icon. Fix an issue where Marauder flash hider attachment for the Armawera displayed an incorrect icon, and for the Wellgun was incorrectly named. Fix an issue with diamond camos for 1916 did not correctly refer to marksman rifles. Fix an issue with SWAT 5mm laser attachment for LAPA displayed an incorrect icon. Fix an issue scrolling over Fenner on change finishing move would kick the player from the menu. Fix an issue where Growling Guardian Charm did not appear in Charm selection menu. Fix an issue where the player would be prompted to install new video drivers. Fix an issue pre-ordering the Vault Edition on Modern Warfare 2 on Steam would not grant players the Ghost Legacy Pack. For other known issues, check out the Trello board. It doesn't seem like they're going to fix the camo glitch people are loving right now. And then update sizes. Whew, that was a lot of patch notes, as the beginning of the season tends to be. But thank you for watching if you stuck through that. If you jumped around, thank you. Please don't forget to like, subscribe. Within the next 2 days, at worst 3 days, I will have videos on both the LMG as well as the new SMG. As usual, I'll have a loadout video coming next week, as well as probably close range, long range, maybe sniper support. It's iffy, because the nerfs I don't think really affected any of the main sniper supports. So we'll see on that one. But notification bell, make sure you click it. New video, weapons on the new videos on the new weapons coming very shortly. And let me know down below what you think of the changes to the weapons, changes to the map, new game modes, whatever. Let me know what you think of the update that is going live today down below. And like I said, I will have the patch notes linked in the description, as well as my video going over Fortune's Keep, the Caldera changes. And with that, also my social media is linked down below. Stream starting up probably middle of next month. So keep an eye out for that. My Twitch is in the description below. But thank you for watching. I will see you on Caldera, Rebirth Island, and now as of today, Fortune's Keep. Get frying. Have a good day. Bye.